So, farewell then, Hermann Popko. For the last 2 years, we've been down here, and it seems entirely fitting that I should be saying goodbye to you in this graveyard of managerial gravitas. For 2 years, you and I, having a sense of duty and by no means pleasure, have come down here and exposed ourselves to the invective, the interrogation, and the intimidation of your staff and of my staff until the 31st of March, when they were translated to another place. For 2 years, they have been not loaded for bear, but loaded for boss. And I think it's greatly to your credit, as well as to mine, that you and I emerged from this experience wiser, better, and perhaps more skillful managers than we were when we started the experience. The only downside I can think of is that our beard girths have somewhat expanded as a result. However, I'm here in the Fahal Bar to pay tribute to rather more than your social and drinking skills, because we've all been impressed, overwhelmed is probably a better word, by the way in which we've been able to delete the letter R from your first name, so that it is not Hermann Popko we're saying farewell to, it is Hermann Popko. Hermann, because in the last 2 years you've learned to play golf as well as Nick Faldo. You've learned to dive to depths that Cousteau would not dare. You've played tennis at least as effectively as that other famous Canadian Carling Bassett, though sadly you don't have her legs. And you've also gone waddy bashing in a spirit of intrepid adventure that would have put Wilfred Pessiger to shame. So here we are with this tremendously impressive portfolio of skills you've demonstrated. And yet on top of that, you've also done here and there, in between these other things, and when you've had time, a little bit of information technology here and there. And there again, the whole cocktail has been most impressive. You've shown me that you can combine the vision on information planning of, let's say, a Van Dalen or a de Plaistrock. You've shown me that you understand the bits and pieces and nuts and bolts of hardware, as well as an Ian Skinner or Hilke van der Wijk. You've shown me that when it comes to the SDC, whatever that means, you know as much about it as anybody alive, including Stan Bradbury. You've shown us all a dedication to the quality process that has even put Chirk Boonstra in the shade. The one quality perhaps that you need to work on a little bit more is you haven't quite come up to the iconoclastic approach, I'll say that again, the iconoclastic approach of a Bruce Biddy. But you're working on it, and I'm sure you'll do well. I'm sure that you probably owe your success as much as anything to the support you've had on the domestic front. And I'd like to pay tribute to Diane, who's always been either at your side or at your back, and sometimes at your front, to make sure you've done what you needed to do. She's been a great asset to you and to FIC and to TCC. I'm also tremendously gratified to be able to record the obvious progress your children have made in acquiring an accent that begins to sound like the English language. And I have a dream, a secret dream, that if only I could secure a cross-posting for you to the UK for another 3 years, your children really would have a good English accent at the end of it all. Now, I'd just like to conclude at this point. Bruce? Bruce? Sir? I'd just like to conclude at this point by wishing you bon voyage, good luck, and all the best. Cheers.
That was much worse because you forgot my name, Alan.
Awesome! Is that you? Of course it is. Don't you recognize your sister? Well, I haven't seen you since Christmas time, and you do look a little different. What's all that stuff on your face?
Well, I've been taking these tablets.
Oh yes, what for?
That's not the sort of question to ask a lady.
Well, we all know you're no lady.
Anyway, I just heard we're coming to the end of an era.
The end of an earring? Whatever do you mean?
I said era in nincompoop, not earring.
Don't you call me a nincompoop, you bearded buffoon.
Oh, bearded buffoon. Well, at least I can shave. What can you do about those ears?
You beast! I shall tell Hermann Popko on you.
You wouldn't dare. Anyway, he's leaving.
Leaving? He can't leave. Who will we get to play Santa Claus?
Well, he is leaving. That's why I said it was the end of an era.
But where will he go?
I think probably back to Canada.
Oh, I know. It's the Santa Claus thing, isn't it? He likes all that snow and ice stuff instead of the sun and the sand.
Well, actually, it's not that at all. I've been told that they're looking for someone with a little bit of farsightedness, common sense, tact, the odd bit of diplomacy, for a very important position in the colonies.
And they can't find anybody, so Herman's going.
Oh, give me strength. They want Hermann.
Training course. It was a training course.
No, he just picked up his CV like the rest of us. Oh, actually, I think it's something to do with the separation issue.
I didn't realise they had a lot of separation marital problems in Canada.
Not marital separation, independence. Some little place called Quebec wants to sort of get rid of the rest of them. You know, your knowledge of world affairs is about the equivalent of the common man's understanding of the EBAS package.
You're not exactly mastermind material yourself, are you?
Well, I may not be brain of a man, but my IQ is measured in positive numbers.
Oh, you beast! As if I haven't enough to contend with Herman leaving.
No, Ted. Herman may be going, but after all, we're getting a hand currency.
Oh, well, that's all right then.
You feel a bit better about that?
I feel a lot better now, because if Mohammed comes to take over TCC, then I'll be able to read the TV news, because he won't have any time at all.
But you can't string two words together.
Oh, yes, I can.
Oh, no, you can't.
Oh, yes, I can.
Oh, no, he can't, boys and girls.
I can too.
Well, prove it then.
I could. Well, just let me go and get this PDO directive out of the bin. Sorry, the filing cabinet. And read this.
Oh, they all end up there.
The management of PDO are continually striving to improve their policies in the area of employee relations. It has been our experience in the past that considerable trust may be obtained by keeping in close touch with the needs and requirements of the staff. To this end, the promotion of an open door policy has been found to be of the utmost assistance in achieving the required interpersonal relationships necessary for a smooth running and efficient department. The execution of this policy has been tirelessly and relentlessly pursued by Mr. Hermann Popko, and we should like to take this opportunity to thank him for his considerable efforts in the promotion of staff harmony. Oh, by the way, we love the lumberjack shirts, Herman. Bye-bye, everybody! Bye!
Well, David, did you manage to minute all the points from the Information Technology Cross-Functional Multidisciplinary Strategy Development Task Force Steering Group Subcommittee?
I usually just call it the ITC FMD SDTF SGSC myself. It's so much easier to remember.
Yes, a catchy title, that.
I think I got most things, but I'd like to make sure I understand a few comments that Herman made.
Far away.
Well, he said that our goal was to leverage the professional.
Yeah, that means leverage the professional.
What does that mean?
Well, we should give chaps computers to make them jolly efficient.
Okay, then what about this, let's bunt on this one?
Oh yes, that's after he said, help me out on this, guys, wasn't it? Yeah. Bunt is shorthand. B-U-N-T. Bluff until next time.
There was one action point I wasn't sure about. When I asked Herman whether I should minute it, he said, I'll leave it to your judgment.
When Herman says, I'll leave it to your judgment, what he really means is, don't bother me with this trivia, so leave it out.
Okay. When we were talking about developing missions and strategies for the ITC FMD SDTF SGSC, he said, why don't we do a first cut on this?
Right, well, this means that you'll do a first cut, and he'll make some initial corrections, and you'll do a second cut, then he'll tell you what he wanted in the first place, and he'll get it right.
Oh,
eventually.
no. Oh. Not again. What does he mean by he was really loaded for bear?
Well, generally nowadays this means watch out, there's a petroleum engineer about.
And then he said we had to pick our spots.
When I was young, my mother used to slap my wrists if I used to pick my spots. But what Hermann means is you pick your spots to aim at when you load it for bear.
Ah, right, I think I understand now. So what's a key deliverable then?
Do this or die.
And what about let's philosophise a minute?
Watch out, here comes next week's key deliverable.
Right, I think that's it.
Okay, let's summarise then. 1, 2, 3, 4. When Hermann first came to Oman, his English drove us frantic, but now we all sound just as if we'd flown across the Atlantic. North American management style, lots and lots of new graft. Just look at what we said last year, it's good for quite a few laughs. We're loaded for bear, we pick our spots, we leverage the professional. We all know where we're coming from, Popko's the reason. Steering groups are lots of fun, they're Hermann's favourite pastime. If you can't dream up a neat idea, just punt until the next time. Missions and strategies, milestones and plans, we need to take us further. Let's brainstorm this, come on you guys, that's what you're paid the big bucks for. We're loaded for bear, we pick our spots, we leverage the professional. We all know where we're coming from, Popko's the reason. Waddying, partying, golfing and that, our verbs used by our mentor. We'd never really realised just what a noun was meant for. When Hermann first came to Oman, shall Canada beat us hollow? But now we're sure he'll tell the world that we're the ones to follow. We're loaded for bear, we pick our spots, we leverage the professional. We all know where we're coming from, Popko's the reason. I'm glad Mohammed hadn't noticed we changed the TCP omanisation targets to womanisation targets.
Good evening, ICMers. GCMers?
Well, hi Herman. I thought, see as you're going, and Alan's going, and I'm going, maybe now it's time to let a few other people in on what we actually did with this building. As you know, and as everyone thinks, the primary purpose of the building was to be suited to computer purposes, but a lot of people often ask me why there was no steering committee, why there was a one-to-one reporting relationship, and why it seems to have an unlimited budget. Well, as you and I know, the secondary purpose was Hermann Popko's Sports Centre. And here on Court 1, we've just been knocking up, John Merkles and myself. You probably wonder why you never managed to beat him on the real courts. The answer is, he's here every lunchtime. Over on Court 2, on the far side, where we cleared the IBM, we've managed to get Willem van der Houen playing a few sets at the moment. But at the moment now, should we just go and have a look at some of the other facilities that we built in just for you? I've moved into the second area that we set up specially for you. I always look at it, any guy who'd actually admit to his wife that he spent £2,000 on speakers has to have something to hide. And with you, well, here it is. A vault for 2 million cassettes, CDs and LPs. People think it's a stationery store, but we know better. And the only reason that you're actually going is because we've run out of space. In here, there's some music of every kind you could ever think of. From Cat Stevens to classical, country, you name it, you've got it in here. We even had to strengthen the floor to take it. Anyway, this is the place where you relax and spend your money when the wife doesn't know.
let's take you down to the other place where you relax with the guys. Well, Herman, of course one of your other games was golf. You managed to get your handicap fairly simply. I was quite impressed, of course I was instrumental in it. A lot of people have asked me about why we've got carpet tiles in here, sorry, why we haven't got carpet tiles in here, and why we've got the thermoplastic tiles. Because the PDO standard seems to be carpet. Well, you and I know that the best reason for sorting out your putting is to get on a fast surface. So I've been in here doing a bit of practicing like you used to do every afternoon in here. Now, of course, Alan Goldsmith's a bit upset because he used to get in here, do some practice, but now he's relinquished us. We've banned him from using the course. But I do believe that Martin Vinks applied for membership. Of course, the one thing you've got to remember about golf is that the major secret of everything is timing. And accuracy helps as well. After the golf, it's always nice to drift down to the 19th hole. Thanks, Barman. Let's have a trot. Thank you. Cheers. And this was one of the more difficult parts of the building that I had to get through. Because you specified a bar that was this height, which was right for your elbow. A little bit high for me, but just spot on for you. Now, this sort of thing doesn't fool many people. The fact that poor old Salma has to sit behind there and no one can see her has prompted quite a few questions. But all in all, we're quite happy. The lads seem to think it's okay and they're serving decent stuff. So, anyway, cheers, Herman. Let's go and have a look at some of the outdoor sports now. Well, for me, the real engineering pièce de résistance was what we called initially the patio. A lot of people said to us, you know, why didn't you do something with it, have some tables out there, have this and that. Mohammed Karousi was very keen to actually have a garden and get some goats out there so he could turn them into samosas, have a bit of a sideline. But well, when you came along, your main interest out here was the sea. And you said to me, you know, look John, you know, it's on the line, it's in your tasks and targets. You've got to do something for me at the weekend. So, well, we got a bit of engineering people in, did a bit of work, and eventually we managed to get the drain pipes so, well, they look like drain pipes, but in actual fact, they're bringing the water in. So every weekend, come Thursday night, we flood it about 6 feet deep, and we let the people swim around, let a few people in, a couple of fishes usually, just to give it a bit of atmosphere, and then come Friday, 4 o'clock, we drain it all out again. No one ever knows the difference. So there it is, Herman, your swimming pool. Well, there's one thing I did learn, Herman, in having you here. That's one thing that the Canadians really like is a barbecue. At the end of the day, well, in your case, even during the day. As you see, we actually built a barbecue pit in your office, and there's the stack at the back for it, and then we've got the outdoor one here that you tend to use after 4 o'clock. The boys tend to appreciate what you've done for them. I'm sure it's going to get a lot of use over the years. From myself, I'd like to say all the best, and as you know, if you ever want another sports complex building, I'm your man. Cheers.
Good afternoon, Herman. I've been asked by your partners in crime to give a few minutes of video, which I'm very pleased to give. Of course, I am actually very restricted in what I can say, of course, when dealing about bunker matters. Of course, the Official Secrets Act of what actually took place in the bunker is still very much in force. However, they've twisted my arm, and I'm about to give away 1 or 2 secrets, which you might like to appreciate. Now, of course, the first thing I would like to say is that I have been subject to some blackmail to keep me quiet. This, of course, is yourself, Herman, and the form of that particular blackmail, of course, takes the form of one of these machines, the PC beside me. Now, this has managed to keep me quiet for 3 or 4 months now, but I'm afraid the game is now up, and I have absolutely no choice but to spill the beans. The other thing I would like to draw to your attention is that the LAN system is, of course, in evidence in my room. This stands for, as we all know, let all know. At least know as spoken in Canadian. Now, we hope that the listening ears are not listening too much, because we all know that you have your spies everywhere. Right, back to your conquest. What were your achievements in the bunker? Well, of course, your first mission, and we must call it a mission, mustn't we, was to give datacomms away. This was a very successful strategy.
Excuse me, I believe you have a problem with your telephone.
I have? Problem with my telephone? Would you like to check it out?
Rectify, certainly. Yes, you have a problem.
What's the problem exactly?
Well, we'll just remove it and then you won't have a problem.
Oh, thank you, Arthur.
Welcome.
Oh! That, of course, summarises the first mission. His mission was to give away datacomms one day and take back with telecoms the next. Mission accomplished. The second mission, of course, was to establish PC support groups outside FIC. This was, of course, a very sound strategy, as it meant that you could wash your hands of any problems arising from this PC support. Another very clever, shrewd move for your mission number 2. Mission number 3, of course, was the hidden agenda. The hidden agenda on this particular occasion was to not only absorb telecoms and datacoms into the FIC empire, but of course to absorb finance itself. This of course met some resistance, especially some resistance from our notable leader, whose immortal words will always be remembered on your lips when he said that this event would be a climacteric. This of course stunned you into a silence, as none of us, including yourself, had ever actually heard of this word. However, having been stunned into silence, there was actually no alternative but to leave finance exactly as it was. A sound ploy. And of course, mission number 4 was to return to FIC to prepare for your retirement. Now, the other areas which you may find interest, Hermann, is of course to remember, during our bunker days, some of the quotes which came out of those bunkers. Now, I won't go into all the details of the quotes, but only those that are fit for publication. Who said, question number 1, when discussing how we should treat management questions when we went to propose our solutions, who said, baff, straight to the boundary, and it's 4 runs? 10 marks. Secondly, who suggested that in the absence of a TSU director, that we had better nominate a director's dummy? I'm sorry, a dummy director. And of course, who better than a director's dummy director, of course, Hermann, than yourself. Congratulations, a director at last. Third quote. Who, having listened to a thorough and well-argued piece of analysis for a member of the team, said, "That's all so much mush." Yes, come in. Oh, hello.
I understand this is surplus to requirements now.
Surplus to requirements?
Yeah.
Well, how did you get that message?
Oh, just passed the note along.
Oh,
Okay.
Yes, well, no, it's not okay at all. Walls have ears. Now, of course, apart from your renown in the FIC world as leader of the FIC kingdom, there was, of course, a certain amount of diving that you did. And I did wonder at one stage why you wanted to do diving as opposed to anything else. And of course, the real reason for wanting to do diving, or at least us wanting you to dive, of course, was quite clear. A simple demonstration. Roughly translated, that means if you're diving, then you can't be heard and nobody can hear you. Very satisfactory conclusion, I'm sure you'd agree. Excuse me. Now, the only solution, of course, was diving or playing the bagpipes. And of course, like a sensible non-Scot, you chose diving. And therefore, I would like to leave you with one final message before I leave you from R2D2 in my old capacity and as chairman of the diving section, may the force go with you. Well, thank you. Oh, yes, come in. Oh, dear. Hermann, your spies are at it again. They want my shirt now. Come on. Cut, guys. Cut, guys. Cut.
Hermann, I'm actually here to take our final revanche with Alan Goldsmith. But I think you both chickened out, both on transfer. This is your usual Tuesday afternoon spot, playing tennis with the Heren competition, or more commonly known as the Old Gentlemen's competition. But I now know what I have to do. I've been here now 3 months, I've aged enough, I have raised the minimum level of tennis, although I believe that is more the standard of the maximum tennis. And also I think you need to drink a bit at the end of this particular gentleman's game. I know that you're now leaving for London, so presumably you're joining now the Wimbledon outer season here in tennis. It's a pity that you're going. In fact, you've done quite a lot for my unit. I first met you in January and you were called the dummy TSU director. Not exactly knowing what it meant, but I certainly realized you've done quite a lot for the TSU, and I'm very grateful for starting off the TSU to what it is today. We've been only working now for 6 weeks, but it certainly has the resemblance of someone who has laid the foundation for a unit which has got all the making to a nice and very prolific future. We also are leaving at a moment that I think your successor can be proud of what you have left behind. You've left behind, certainly under your making, a beautiful computer building, which I believe is a removable wall, a challenge for your successor. You've also left behind an organization which has got the first makings, before even the reorganization, of a computing and telecommunications group, something I think is working also very well. And no doubt you have left behind a computing organization with a strategy. All these aspects are something I can look forward to. It's a pity that I can't enjoy your support in that respect much longer. But all the best for you when you go to London. It's quite clever of you actually to go to London and not immediately to Calgary. The fact that it is here 45 degrees, Calgary probably around 0, London not even halfway. So in that respect your blood may thicken a bit. Don't forget your umbrella, I've lifted as well. It's not like Muscat, it rains a bit. All the best of luck. I hope to see you back in London when I make a trip there.
Dear Hermann, this is my ear that I keep to the ground to hear whether the CPUs are ticking over. This is my nose with which I try to sniff out the quality in your outfit. And talking about outfits, this is the kind of uniform that I have in mind for all computing and communication staff to flag and underline that they take a special place in PDO. It's grown into a swell outfit, Hermann. You guys are giving shape to our vision, the vision that we have developed over the recent past, and where we seek, amongst other things, synergy between computing and communications. And that's starting to work. Now, we don't necessarily have to have a uniform approach, but if we are going to have a uniform, then, Hermann, this will be it. Thank you very much for all you've done for PDO, and I'd like to leave you with a final message. Goodbye. This message was recorded on Symphony, a non-standard package.
Okay. Let's start with that. Lose some momentum. Come on.
Wave your papers in the air and run down a corridor, slip into a room, go to sleep at loudly snore, shout at all the staff, have a tantrum, wring your hands, take a whiny trip, and then climb up Jebel Shan. Hermann Popko knows that you're leaving PDO, there's a few things that everybody here should know, they've been secrets now, since the day that you came here, but it's showtime, so you better sit down with a beer. Now we all know that you've got an open door, and you tell us that it has always been your law, but we know the truth, cause we heard it on the phone that you're still on mice and compelled to be alone. Wave your papers in the air and come down the corridor, slip into a room, go to sleep and lovely snore, shout at all the staff, have a tantrum, wring your hands, take a whiny trip, and then climb up Jebel Shan. Now it's Christmas time, and you're in a funny suit, carrying a bag that has in it all your loot. How you got that suit? Is the tailor truly sick? Set a trap for him, and fund of old Saint Nick. Now this tale is told, you're exposed for what you are. Oh, and by the way, you want too much for your car, the wheels are falling off, and it's got an engine white, so it's LED, and pass it off the line. Wave your papers in the air, and go down a corridor, slip into a room, go to sleep and loudly snore, shout at all the staff, have a tantrum, wring your hands, take a whiny trip, and then climb up Jebel Shan. Wave your papers in the air and run down the corridor, slip into a room, go to sleep and loudly snore, la 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 la, la 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 la
goodbye.
Bye, Herman.
And give him a nice wave. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
No problem. How about they go, I cannot use one of those things.
Right. Don't worry about the control, that'll add to the film, as long as we can stop laughing.
Put your nose
Push him,
Put your nose against it and then go fast.
Yeah.
Yeah?
But wait till John's here, because he might have a few
Okay.
other ideas as well.
No, you're still preparing the course.
You can get off if you want, because John's going to be a good few minutes, I reckon.
Damn, just too late.
Hello. Yeah.
Simple work, isn't it?
What's your outfit?
What outfit?
Nobody said anything about it.
That's enough.
Great job here.
Right, I'll stand at the back.
How the chief was in these? Okay, Alan, we can cater for you. We have bits and pieces.
I've got my bloody t-shirt on me.
Very nice too.
Not limited t-shirt.